Hello and welcome to the Saturday of the Alpha launch event. My
Yeah.
name is Toby and you're here with Harry. We are the brothers Sutherland, otherwise known as the Souther Bros. And we're basically going to be your hosts for this singles pre-alpha championship event. We've
Yeah.
taken the top 4 players from the pre-alpha and we're going to put them head to head and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 4 classic players from the community. Everyone will know them and probably have lost a couple or more than a couple of games to them. So we've got Mixu's here. He's one of the he's been around for a while now. Yeah, he's a pretty
Yeah,
broad player, really awesome.
yeah,
Magical's kind of, I think, probably the current unofficial
yeah.
champion, if you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Santa's around. You
he's
might know
definitely the
him.
guy at the
Yeah,
moment,
yeah.
the guy to beat. Yeah.
Santa's around. There, you might know them from Pig Community if you follow him. He's a sick player, and then Hydra. He hasn't been around heaps recently, but he's actually sick. So those
He's
are our
probably the
players.
goat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's probably
The
the goat.
immortal goat so far. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so that's who we got today. Yeah, sweet as. We're gonna hop right into the game. Try to tell you a bit about it if you're new to Immortal.
Yeah.
We do dev stuff on the game, so we have some unique insights
Yep.
to some of the wonky parts. But yeah, let's go.
All right. Here we are entering into the first of the semi-finals here. Just entering into Immortal Select between Magical and Santa. So this is essentially the part of the game where you can differentiate yourself somewhat, plan some strategy. You can pick the Immortal that's going to suit your playstyle and you think is going to counter their playstyle. We can see right off the bat here that Magical has gone for Mala, one of our Aru Immortals, and Santa has gone for Orzum, one of the really defensive, impressive Craft Immortals.
Craft Immortals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super sick. I'm always curious to see. I wonder in these situations because these guys have played each other a lot, you know. So I wonder if they're trying to counterpick. You know, there's a bit of that kind of thing going on there. So we'll hopefully see soon when we get into Lost Province here.
I think definitely there'll be a little bit of back and forth counterpicking happening. These guys will have played a lot. We know they've played a lot, and they're going to know roughly what the other person likes to do. Santa in particular loves Dervish. The guy is a Dervish fiend, and he'll send Dervish at your base all game.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
ridiculous. For those unfamiliar with Immortal, the Dervish is a harassment unit. It's a very cool angel that kind of skates around the battlefield, and then has this kind of neat spinning attack that does this cone of damage in front of it. It's very strong versus light units, so it's excellent for killing worker lines. So you'll see a lot of harassment coming out probably from Santa with those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So early expansion here, and we're going to probably see the same on the other side by the looks of things.
Yeah, it does seem like early expansions are the way at the moment. And we've got the trademark teapot running around early on.
It's definitely not trademark. I think it's one of the first 3D models ever. But it got put in the game at some point as like a placeholder for a scout. Anyone familiar with 3D will be familiar with that teapot. And it's never left yet, so maybe in beta. But for right now, it's staying, and we love it. Ooh, looks like we're going to have the first Legion Hall going down here.
Yeah. It's a classic maneuver to get the Legion Hall out the front, just to get the units out a little bit closer to the front lines.
Yeah, you want to get your stuff out fast, because in Immortal, we've got this super valuable Pyre resource all throughout the map, and you want to contest and brawl for that as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the strategies are. It seems like economy and tech are the kind of main ones at the moment. We don't see too many early pressures and attacks. Sometimes people will go out and try to collect some of the early Pyre, but for the most part, it's people taking up, and we can see that there's a lot of Ether being taken, which is the second resource in Immortal, and that is the resource you need to tech up.
Yeah, and get all those fancy units, right?
Oh yeah, fancy units, alright.
Yeah, I say fancy.
Unit spells and things.
Yeah, yeah, we got the or in the case of Santa, probably Dervish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. So everyone's got some really good scouts going off here for Santa. Probably not going to see anything too unexpected here, right? you can kind of expect that someone will have at least their first altar down and a couple of units on the way out.
Yeah,
So they're going to push out onto the map. Yeah.
Magical's just going for an early little push out with the Master Hunters to try and secure some Pyre, knowing that they will likely have the map control early. Orzum is quite effective at taking down camps, but not so good at contesting other units early on. The Zentari are slow and powerful, and tend to get run around a little bit by the lighter quicker units.
Yeah. But they're goddamn huge, and I love them, alright? You know? Orzum players, like, don't worry, your time will come, alright? Someone will come too close to you and Angel Fire at some point in the game, and you'll be able to hit them hard, alright?
Oh yeah.
So, both players have avoided each other so far. It looks like Santa's being a bit more aggressive in taking out these neutral towers across the map. They give a little bit of Pyre as well, and then you can place one of your own towers there for a small Pyre cost as well. And there's the Dervish that we knew were coming, and they've been scouted already, so that's gonna... I do wonder if that's why Magical was kind of cautious with his masked hunters out on the map. He was worried about those Dervishes. He knew it was a matter of time.
Reputation based, yeah. And I think Magical missed some opportunities to take more Pyre camps there, you know, like they definitely had the unit advantage out on the map. But we had a glimpse there. It was hard to catch, but we saw a bone canopy going up in the Aru base, and the bone canopy is the requirement for flying units. And so it's quite likely we're going to see that thrum harassment that's very popular at the moment. Well, here come the Dervish.
Yeah, and you can see this is really pretty well defended. Blocked up, hard to get in. Oh, trying to sneak by, and then they're going to get jammed on the other side. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like these Dervish have got nowhere to go. They're okay against those units, but not that many. And one symbiote comes out here with a finishing blow.
It's genius by Magical though. Playing the player more than the game in that respect. Put a wall up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walled off completely. No way in. Knowing that the Dervish are going to try and make their way in there. And just holds the Masked Hunters ready to run in. To kill them as they trap them in. It's an incredibly tactical play and I love it.
Yeah. And then slaps down that expansion immediately. So that's sick. There come the thrums. Yeah. They're really fast, light air harassment units, so I'm curious to see how much they can get done with those.
I'm very worried for Santa. Orzum is known for being a powerhouse immortal, but one of the issues with Orzum is that you can very easily end up with very little anti-air. And especially if you're going for that Dervish harassment strategy, and then you just use and like rely on the Zentari to hold the ground, sometimes you're left with very little anti-air to deal with some of these like harassment units.
Yeah, no, I fall into the same trap whenever I play Orzum. I know that Zentari are like really solid, great defensive units, and I'm like, yeah, nothing will ever get in, and then someone flies over the top every time, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about flying units. Yeah. He has already got a Sentinel out, which is a pretty good unit to try and counter these things. He's going to have to, you know, maneuver that pretty well if he wants to stay alive here. It's got longer range than the Thrums, but yeah.
This is the player history for sure. You can see these guys reading each other like a book. It comes in and he's like, oh, I see you're going to attack with Dervish and allow me to counter that completely. Oh, you're going for Thrum? Well, guess what? I've countered that already completely.
I don't know if he scouted that at all, did he? He just knew there was a Thrum on the way?
I don't believe it was scouted, no. I think this is an educated guess.
This is like one of those chess openings, you know, where there's like the first 30 moves are pretty much predetermined, and then finally the game kind of gets...
yeah. Welcome to the start of the game.
Welcome to the start of the game. Yeah. Alright, it's a pretty big force pushing out. So one of Orzum's really solid immortal abilities that you have to be scared of if you're playing against him is his Pillar. That drops a really strong damage buff in an area, and that can make pushes super hard to defend. So as Orzum, you kind of want to start out on the map a bit so you have that pressure, right? Magical's probably going to want to try and pull him back to his base if he can.
Yeah, it's definitely about finding the right position for the fight. If you can manage to get a pillar down and take a fight near a pillar, it is a massive advantage. The trick is having the pillar down in time for the fight. If you run in and then just try pillar, you will lose a lot of units before it has landed and impacted the fight. But if you manage to find your position and set it up just beforehand, it is really incredibly destructive.
Mhm. Yeah, so we just had a little show off of the ping that we just added in our alpha there. Sure, there needs to be some defense here. Oh, and these masked hunters are walking up that high ground, so they couldn't see up there. And oh man, that is some serious hits with the AoE there. The Dervish absolutely cleaning up, but he's spreading out the masked hunters really well here to try and minimize the amount of splash damage that's coming in on them. And 3 more Dervish pushing in here. And actually, one thing I didn't even notice, Santa doesn't even have enough Pyre for the pillar. He's gonna have to clean up some real quick. He needs 100, and so this next camp will give it to him. We're gonna see Magical probably counterattack to try and pull him back home.
Yeah, and I think Santa's really well set up here. Like a few defensive fire singers, the little turrets there on the ground that can shoot air and ground units, so they're providing all the defensive protection needed. But I love Santa's army composition here. There's just a couple of Magi, and the Magi you can see have the candles on the shoulders and the mana bar there, and they cast a healing ability. So you might notice that none of the other units in the army are really hurt that much at the moment, and that's because the Magi have been healing them up. So this strong core army is just being kept alive by just a little bit of supplementary healing, which makes them really strong boost. Oh, here we go, coming in now, and the big pillar on the left.
There's the pillar.
It's going to provide a huge damage boost.
Yeah, see those Zentari swords are now glowing blue. They've got their ranged attack and they can start cleaving through this army. There's still a lot of masked hunters that aren't being hit by those Dervish with their AoE attack, so it looks like they've got those Zakals out in the front to tank for them, and it's not going to be enough. He's running out of pillar field as well to try and get on top of them. He's just going to throw in the towel. That's GG. Just enough Zakals there, huh?
Yeah, it seems like that was just an excellent timing where there were just that little bit of buffer in front of the soft units, and Santa hadn't quite done the switch needed to cover the difference in kind of compositions there. I think the other part of that was the pillar was in really quite far, which meant he had to commit a long way in and then risked losing some of the damage to nearby buildings. So the kind of nature of the Dervish is you want to run up and try and hit the masked hunters, but then you're kind of torn between standing in your pillar or not, so that's quite a tricky one.
Yeah, I feel for him there, because you could see he was gonna push in at that one earlier fight, and then he was I wonder if he didn't check how much Pyre he had, because he immediately ducked back, grabbed 2 camps, and then went for the attack. But that little bit of time that he had was just enough to get those couple of Zakals out there to form a solid front line for the really high DPS masked hunters out the back. Sick game.
Yeah, no, it was really well done by Magical. And we actually saw one of the Mala abilities there for a small healing field. So yeah, excellent usage of the Pyre advantage as well. So that was game 1. Well done to Magical. We'll see you shortly for game 2. Alright, and here we are. Welcome back. We're into game 2 of Magical versus Santa for the semi-final of the Singles Pre-Alpha Championship.
And already, I think we can see an adjustment, right? Santa tried that kind of Dervish pressure, got completely blocked off with that 6 around there, and they're going to switch over to a Jari. That's our other Krath Immortal. Bit faster.
And notably, still has Dervish.
Yeah, still has the Dervish, yeah.
I don't know if Santa would ever give up that particular unit, but different units will be swapped out. The way the system works in Immortal is when you pick a different Immortal, it actually switches certain units out from the faction. So 2 units will be replaced with a unique replacement belonging to that Immortal. So in this case, we won't be seeing the tanky Zentari as the kind of core alloy unit. We'll instead be seeing the nimble kind of long-range Sipari. Yeah.
So, bit faster on the map, bit better at kind of having control. They've got a slightly longer range with that spear, which means you can't really, micro against them and kind of maneuver your units as well, because they'll stab you anyway. And this is sick. I don't know if this moat's supposed to be going out here. I'm not sure what he's doing across this side of the map. So I'm curious to see. There's an expansion going down, not one on the other side, so I wonder what's going on here. He's just going to smack this neutral tower here. So one of the tricks there is that neutral towers will hit anything close by if they've been attacked first. So he's going to smack once with a moat, which does a very small amount of damage, and then it's going to shoot the closest thing, which happens to be Magical's expansion.
This is an incredible cheese.
It's
Let
such
me just
a
hit this for you, and then I'll hit it a bit with the worker too. So now the symbiotes
Yeah.
try to push the moat towards the tower because whatever's closest gets shot. So it's a little bit of a dance. Oh, you got to keep that symbiote back. Can't be losing a worker this early in the game. But had the right idea, Magic had the right idea. You want to slap that moat a little bit, push it towards the tower, see if you can get some shots on the moat. Because actually the moat's DPS isn't that high, but when combined with the DPS from the derelict tower there, it can cause some real issues.
Yeah, he's going to try bait it around again. And you can see there's actually some Sapari coming across the map. So, not only is this a... Oh, got a bit of miscontrol there. Going to lose the moat.
Magical's done it. He pushed the moat into the tower, and that's that for the moat.
Yeah, and so now I got to wonder if Magical's expecting these units. Because it could be that they were just messing with them. I think people do this sometimes. They'll just come in and whack a tower and be like, haha, it only cost me a moat. Oh, there is a whole lot of Masked Hunters.
Well, that's lucky. That would have been really, really difficult to defend otherwise. Even though you can produce units at the same time in parallel in Immortal Gates of Pyre, there is still a build time that you have to respect, and you still need the resources to make them. And so, luckily, Magical had anticipated that move and built some Masked Hunters. But I don't think Magical noticed the Sapari sneak around the side. I assume that they kind of seen that because he's out on the map trying to farm Pyre. Well, there's an attack in his base.
Yeah, these poor symbiotes have had it rough today. Oh, hey. And so, yeah, now he knows he's got to come back in. So there is that bastion, this grey building at the bottom there. That's a tower that you get at the start of the game to kind of, you know, have a safe space. You can see all the symbiotes huddling around there. And then the Masked Hunters are going to have to come in here and try and chase this off. And they're going to use Deliver from Evil. Ajari's... Oh no! One of Ajari's signature move, which is going to send them back to the nearest town hall. Or in this case, Citadel. So... Yeah, and then this last one's going to have to run home. Spari's faster, alright?
Yeah, it's going to be a juking
not
and
fast
jiving.
enough.
See if we can dodge out of here.
Yeah.
But Masked Hunters are pretty nimble too, and so it's going to take a lot of maneuvering to get out of here.
Is he going to see that one low health symbiote? He's got it! That's got to be frustrating for Magical.
That's incredibly frustrating.
And not only this, I mean, it's kind of cheesy stuff, but it is buying time, right? He's not out on the map collecting Pyre while that's happening. You know, he spent
time to get
symbiotes
Dervish
at the start of the game. Time to get Dervish, exactly.
Coming in for round 2 of the harassment.
Yeah, so that scout's going to come in and see if there are Dervish on the way, and they're not going to get the chance.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of downtime now where they both kind of farm up their Pyre. So the closest derelict towers there, you can see are the easiest things to farm the Pyre from. You'll get a little bit of Pyre, not as much as these camps in the middle of the map, but obviously it's quite safe to take the towers near your base, and so most people begin with those, unless they're really trying to contend those middle camps first and snake them away from the opponent.
Yeah. So, interesting to see here what Santa does after this, you know, if he's keeping on that kind of cheesy harassment style, because I think it does put Magical kind of, not put them behind, but just kind of puts them off balance, you know? That first game, there was such a perfect wall in and catch of the units there, just enough units for the defense, but this game, I wonder if they're just a bit off kilter.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and I mean, Santa's definitely at definitely farmed more Pyre this game. We can see that the Pyre counts are roughly the same at the bottom, but we know that Deliver from Evil has been used by the Ajari player already. And so there's a significant Pyre advantage in that they've already gained some edge with it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out later in the fights.
And then also, like, you've denied your opponent from that Pyre as well, right? So, you know, Magical hasn't been able to spend anything this whole game and, you know, only just staying equal, so. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. One of the things about the Dervish, other than sending them into your opponent's symbiote lines and worker lines, is they do give you really solid control over the map, right? If you come out and fight, the Dervish are going to chase you all the way home if you start losing.
Yeah, no, that's very true. We do see the same wall on the left, so we'll see if that is a solid wall and whether it blocks that Dervish, because we might just see a repeat of the exact same issue from the first game. You can see Santa thought about it and has decided to pull back. Fool me once.
Yeah, shame on me. Alright. So there's a pretty serious army trying to posture out on the map. I think they'll find that Santa's also got a pretty solid army. You can see down on the bottom there, the army strength. Oh, unless he loses some of these Dervish, but they're fast enough, so they're going to get away here. You can see the army score down on the bottom of the map there, yeah.
Magically, it's straight back to base because he knows what it means if you see some Dervish out on the map and they run around the side. It means they come in and hit your base if you don't go back. So immediately returns to defend, and probably will defend as the same wall trick will be found.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a wall! Oh no, the Dervish.
There's a symbiote there. Yeah, you can see the symbiote's already running. We can see Santa's camera. I don't think they know where they went actually. They were just out of vision, I think. So now they might be stuck in the base.
Yeah, these might get a
splitting off the forces,
but it's looking unlikely.
Yeah, what is it worth saving these? The craft player's going to push out the map now.
Pyre. They've been using it for citadels around the map for map control. Oh, that means these Dervish are gone.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So that's one of the uses of Pyre that is generic across all Immortals. Is that you can spend 50 of it and slap down a tower, or is it 75?
It's 75 for most, but Auzoom is.
I play Auzoom too much.
Yeah. Auzoom is a special case. He gets those cheap towers. But we can see one side effect of that whole kind of series of events is actually that Magical had to give up the map control to defend the Dervish.
Yeah.
And so now Santa got in, got the 2 Pyre camps, and actually reclaimed a lot of Pyre. And we see some harassment coming in now. Oh, Warden out the back of the base.
That is super annoying. Warden's a pretty solid, healthy unit, so you can't just contribute a couple of archers to deal with it, you know? It's quite tanky. And every 5th hit does a decent amount of bonus damage, so there's ways that you can kind of outmaneuver your opponent if they're not paying attention with it.
Yeah, and once again, it's pulling units back, you know? Like, we can see Magicals had to, like, try and figure out what the number is to defend this. So it's 5 apparently is decided to be the number, but that's 5 that aren't in the army. And look, we've got more fighting out on the map now, and so might need those hunters. If Santa pulls the whole army over.
Yeah, has he got enough to defend is now the question. I mean, it's a decent amount of mass hunters, right? He is on hallowed ground. He's going to drop the healing field from one of Ajari's signature units.
Yeah, we can see the Marley healing spell again, that little red ring on the ground there, and it's doing a lot of work, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Like, Ajari has incredible healing coming from the Saoshin. The Magi replacement of the Saoshin is a incredible burst healer. So in some of these fights, you can see them leap in and give this healing field to the Sipari around them.
Yeah, and I could see that attack going very differently if there weren't, you know, a number of archers, mass hunters, scattered throughout his base trying to defend these really annoying attacks. Like, look at this wonky angle here, just to beat up on this poor, you know, Ethermore.
Yeah. No, there's clearly some difficulty defending these. They can just
run
away and hide on some high ground, and you can't clean it up unless you've actually invested in some air units yourself. We do see one Erebor at the back there to try and defend without too many units committed. But that's not the only Warden. As we can see, there's harassment happening everywhere. Though I think this one is perhaps short to live. Yeah.
Just going to use that further then. Chase it down with that little bit of extra speed and range. Oh, see Daisy. But I think they've got the damage done, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
Santa's gone ahead and put down a 4th base behind that.
We do see a lot of tech as well coming out from Santa.
And the army supplies are dead even. The power score down there, you can see on the bottom right. 370 each. So pretty big armies. It's going to come down a lot to control here.
Yeah, and
Santa's going to go out and steal the Pyre.
Yeah, again. It will depend on... Was that stolen by a T-Bot? I think a T-Bot stole that. I think a scout T-Bot actually stuck in the middle of the whole army and stole that. But it will depend on the spellcasters that we see coming out from Santa. We can see one in the back of the army there. That is the Arc Mother. This is another Vanguard unit for Ajari. It's a special unit that might just get sniped off.
It's a bit out of the open. Oh, they've got their spell off. That big AoE circle on the ground there, that's a defensive buff. And so Magical's going to try pull him back and then launch his own root vice there. Try and slow them down. And this is an awful fight for Santa. He's got to get back into the protection, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. There's incubators at the back constantly spawning these small Queedle to harass him down. This is a fight that's going to get worse for him as it goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think it was incredibly lucky that Santa was beside the hello ground for that fight. The
Mhm.
infuse and the mass fervor on the army was just incredibly like high damage coming out from magical, and it
Yeah.
was like the little bit of damage reduction that did come from the Arc Mother ability before it died probably helped, but definitely wasn't the type of fight you're looking for. The Arc Mother's ability can prevent an incredible amount of damage if placed correctly. I think Santa's
Yeah.
lucky to be alive after that.
Yeah, that was just enough. And then we've got the king of craft spellcasters. It's a living afterlife that can cast some serious pain down on the arrow player here. So we're going to see how well he can land that War Strike. Super big AoE skill. Can really turn some fights. So see what comes on now.
Yeah, Harry of course is referring to the Sharu, the late game spellcaster of craft. This kind of spinning disc orb kind of collection that we see on the screen. And it looks kind of odd and dangerous, and it is. You'll see some blanketed angel fire in the near fights, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we've got this hilarious Legion Hall blocking this off, and I don't know if Magical knew about this for a while there. This fourth base, so I think they might be wondering if they're a bit behind. That's going to get cleaned up immediately, and Magical's going to use the opportunity to try and push in here. Let's see if he can get something done.
That was a huge fight coming in. Root Vice on the leading units, which means they can't get in close like they want to, but we can see the War Strikes pushing the Arrow Army back. That's one used, and it looks like there's going to be a disengage from Magical. No one wants to stick
but he
around
got the
for
base
too long when you see the Sharu coming in.
He's got the Citadel there. So the Acropolis rather, sorry. And so that's pretty huge. Not going to be getting any money from that for a long time. There's a single Sapari out on the other side of the map.
Yeah,
chipping away at this.
Magical had to snipe that base though, because Santa already has that fourth up, and Magical's only just put theirs down now. And I think Magical's decided to try and catch up by double expanding, because we can see in the bottom left corner we now have another base. So just trying to build the fourth and the fifth at the same time to kind of sneak away with a little bit of map control. But this backdoor could be it.
Yeah, so there's some Dervish there, and also a big Pyre advantage for Santa here. And those Dervish are a bit ahead of themselves. Yeah.
Wow, the blue rings of fire you can see on the ground there, that's the angel fire left burning after the Sharu's War Strikes, and it creates this damaging area that really is too much for Mouse Hunters. You have to pull back out of them. It requires a lot of kind of quick army movements and responses to really deal with it. Often we see a different switch in different compositions later in the games when these Sharu come out, because it forces some real decisions. And we can see that Magical is starting to build up some of the Aru spellcasters. We've seen a little bit of Root Vice already, which is the ability that locks units in place so that they can't keep closing, which is especially huge fight coming in, a couple of War Strikes, but both whiffing.
Big whiffing, yeah. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any other anti-air here. I see a couple of Thrums, but I'm wondering about Aroxes or like the grounded.
The Wraith Bow?
Yeah, the Wraith Bow. Oh man. Yeah, the Wraith Bow. I haven't seen any of that yet, but that is a big flock of Thrums. And Awestrike does not shoot up. All right, it's part of raining fire down from the heavens. Is it doesn't go back up. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think Magical's basically identified that there's not really a good counter to Thrum on the field. There's only a couple of Zephyrs on the field, and while they're a reasonable anti-air solution, they're not the most mobile unit, and we don't see any Sentinels around, so there's not going to be a good counter. Those Thrum could go and kill a single worker, trigger their Blood Frenzy, and take out that base.
Yeah, this is true, but also Santa's army is enormous. Like, he has got a massive advantage in straight up army. If he just attacks, he might straight up win the game. But I think right now he's doing his best to micro around with that little moat to delay the massive onslaught of Thrums here.
Yeah, I think Santa's really got to pull the trigger, because it's going to be super hard to defend this correctly. We can see a lot of workers going down, and the income's just going to die. So Santa's got to figure out whether they're going for a killing blow or not. It does look like they're going for the back door into the base to try and make a killing blow on the production. This could be it.
Yeah. So this is going to be the end of game fight really soon, I reckon. Here. So the Thrums are not good at killing buildings, whereas this enormous craft army will do that just fine.
We can see some omnivores in here, which are the defensive tower for the Aru. But realistically, they're not going to put up much of a fight, and I think this is actually really impressive by Santa getting in here and killing off a lot of these defensive structures before the Aru army arrives. Rain of Blood coming out from Mala. That's the Aru's ultimate ability.
Yeah,
going to give
that huge regen. Ooh. The
Massive
All Strikes are way too much,
army.
Mood. There's just no way to get in on this, right? You've got Rain of Blood, you're dropping further, you're using all your abilities, but you can't get close. Yeah, another huge Ore Strike. It's just so much craft. You can see the power going down like nothing. Oh, he's actually leaving? I'm surprised. He was winning. I feel like. Maybe just no more mana for Ore Strikes?
The discomfort. Yeah, I can see how that could be uncomfortable though. You know, you're fully surrounded by Aru units. You don't know exactly how much there is. You've used a lot of your spells and abilities, and you just want to let that recharge and use the kind of Sharu advantage. And I think that's a good use of the Ajari abilities, you know? Magical use the Rain of Blood, which means that they're going to be really strong. All the Aru units are going to benefit from that big regen for the next, like, 30 seconds. So, you know, like, maybe just tap out. Say, hey, look, I've spent less Pyre than you. You've spent more, and it's a little bit wasted now. And I got a lot of damage done with the Ore Strikes. I'll come back and clean it up another time. Oh, and the Thrum getting caught out here. This can't be losing these. This is the only thing keeping
cleaning that
Magical in the game.
It's a lot of Mass Hunters, but it's only Mass Hunters by the looks of it. You know, other than the Incubators at the back. That's not a great army for a lot of these, you know, Ore Strikes. You're going to have to leave every time, right?
Yeah, there's no way you can fight that directly. I would love to see Santa with some Sentinel to really, like, fend off these Thrum. I think these Thrum are really kind of causing a massive problem. And we can see the income numbers at the bottom, like, Santa is not gaining that much alloy. Like, it's a slow trickle at the moment. Like, the main is going to be mined out.
For both players, actually.
Yeah, it's true, But Magical does have that bottom left base, so there is a 5th base coming up for Magical.
Yeah, and actually, I just saw there, briefly, Magical's just started building a whole round of the dive bombing unit that Aru has, the Arox, which is going to blow itself up onto the Sharu here, which is to try and clear some of that out, because that's the only thing that's really stopping him from pushing in and harassing some of these other bases. So we're going to see how well those can land their shots.
In the middle of the map, we see the iconic double teapot hanging out together. This is a classic maneuver where you forget your rally point and forget your scouts and leave them sitting in the same spot. Whoa, that's a lot of A-Rocks.
That's so many A-Rocks.
Okay, I think you called that one correctly.
Yep.
What do you
Someone
call
is
it?
sick of Sharu.
A flock?
I don't even know.
Like,
there's got to be a word. Yeah.
A
It's like a
battalion,
murder
like...
of crows kind of thing. Yeah, battalion. Yeah. That is.
Don't fly over the fires.
A lot of
arrows.
Oh.
There goes one. Fragile little players.
What?
Volatile is the name.
He's got enough. Yeah. He's gonna take a couple of shots from the tower before he turns around.
Okay, this is really important. We've got to see if these Arox can contact with the Sharu.
Yeah,
if
he knows they're there now as well. Ooh. Where's he going with them all? Might be worth that poor Arc Mother's going the wrong way. I think they're just zoning out those Sharu to stop the attack. And here's the big attack going in now. Ore Strikes, decent hits. The Burn's killing a lot of things. The Arox is going to blow some stuff up, but there were some good Ore Strikes. Only using 1 or 2 at a time to sort the splash damage from the Arox, really killing things.
Yeah, we can see that Santa's really playing this carefully. You know, the Sharu is sitting way back behind the army and sitting safely beside some defenses, because they're trying to let their Castigator, which is the large ground unit with the cannon on spec, that's the dedicated anti-air for Krath. They're trying to let the Castigator do the work. It only takes a few shots to kill the Arox, and so here they come, trying to make contact with the Sharu. We've seen 1, 2, 3 Sharu go down instantly.
That is pretty big. And another sick attack. So there was the attack before, took out that base on the bottom side of the map, and now Magical's really just taking advantage of this like kind of superior Aru mobility to just strike it heaps of places at once, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And but I think the key thing is, all strikes coming down the army. No, all missing this time though. That's very little damage. They're going to be running a little bit low on the old mana now. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Magical might walk away with this game just through the multi-prong and multi-harassing, because Santa has a huge army. The army value, if we look in the bottom of the screen, it's double. You know, like 6,000 is a really incredibly powerful army. However, Santa hasn't been able to make it across the other side of the map because of the multi-prong harassment. And if they can never force this fight, eventually they're going to get whittled down. And we can see the big flying behemoths coming out now for the Aru.
Big boys.
Yeah.
So they're going to drop a whole lot of quick disposable units constantly. So like a non-stop supply of these free disposable Queedle. And so it's going to become a much more complex fight. Got a couple of Sapari coming down here, but this base is pretty well defended. There's quite a few omnivores here.
Santa's trying to pull the trigger across the other side of the map, but feeling a little tentative now. I can understand seeing these behemoths coming out at you. You might have thought you had the.
I mean, he's got the Castigator count. He's got 3 of those big cannon boys, big cannon dogs walking around. Like, they're pretty good against the behemoth.
I think Santa might be waiting for the Arc Mothers actually, just to take a really good fight here. Because if we can use the Ordained Passage, the Arc Mother ability, to really like shuttle the army in a really like protected manner, I think that's going to lead to the like winning fight.
Yeah, so Magical's going to split up his army. He's got a huge flock of things going up to the north as well, so this is going to be a game with the split. And Santa's out of position for both of those. Oh, but he's making the decision to go up.
Yeah, Santa's
and ignoring the
prioritizing
majority
the
of
new
the
base.
Okay, interesting.
I guess we don't know exactly how much alloy is left at the other base, but Santa's made the call that this is the most important one and this is the one we'll be keeping. It does mean it's going to come at the expense of another one. There's no static defense up there though to just cover the base, which means the army is going to be tensioned once again to come back and defend the rest. Okay, we see the Cascada here kind of trying to see the behemoth away, but there's a lot of units coming out from the Aru. Some miscontrol though, the behemoth's taking a lot of shots. The Cascada's going to run them down. The behemoth are not big units.
Oh, they're coming back in again. No, they turn really slowly. Heaven's Aegis, Ajari's ultimate ability, giving a huge buff to shields for a short amount of time. It's going to be enough to win this fight that's already on the back foot. We're going to see if Santa can capitalize on this huge Pyre spell and really just push across with that massive immortal ability.
I think that might have been it. I think that miscontrol was the game. I think Santa's army is just too big, and now all the Sharu with like the really high charged mana counts are going to come in, and there's no way that Magical's going to be able to take a good fight into this now. It's going to be so hard without those behemoths to provide that kind of free resource that they need. Here we go, the Aru Fervor coming in. Lots of the Ordained Passage coming from the Arc Mother to protect the units on the right. The Castigators are safe as houses. The Ore Strike's Rain of Blood coming out from the Aru player to try and keep the army healthy.
I don't know if that's enough. You still can't push into that. Oh, but Santa Claus believes so. He's respecting it. I don't know if he needs to. Another huge Ore Strikes this time. Massive. And you know the burns there. You got to split your whole army up while you're getting blasted by these superior crafted units of someone with triple your army power. That's rough.
I think that's got to be game. That was just such an effective fight for Santa. To have run around and been pulled apart for so long, and then finally to get that one big fight that you needed. Heading into the base for the killing blow now. If you can take out a lot of production, that's going to cripple them. It's so expensive to replace all of these buildings at this point in the game.
Yeah, and if you check, both players are broke. They've got like 200 alloy, and here it is. There's the GG. Congratulations to Santa. Fantastic game.
Excellent game. Awesome.
Really
impressive
tie it up.
stuff.
We're going to go to game 3.
Really impressive.
Yeah,
I'm super excited. I'm super to see. I want to see the adjustments that are made in this last game. You know, we've seen the first game where there was Awesome. We've seen the second game where there was Ajari, and we saw some excellent deliver from evil maneuvers. Then start to get picked apart. But that kind of in-game power with the Arc Mother, that Vanguard unit for Ajari, providing that huge damage reduction in the fights. We've got to see what Santa thinks. It's feeling comfortable and can get that last win.
Yeah, no, that was super sick, and you know he played it really carefully. He didn't want to lose a single one of those, Shara. So
yeah, awesome. really good.
Right.
Awesome. We'll see you guys in game 3.
So yes, let's.
All right, welcome back to game 3. This is exciting. We've got a tiebreaker essentially between Magical and Santa. We're locking in now in the Immortal Select. Let's see what they come up with. Santa is
Magical is just so comfortable. Oh.
Whoa! Whoa! Back and forth between the Ajari and the Orzum. Some decisions being made, some tactics decided. Make sure to tune in
somewhere
to...
in America he is flipping a coin.
yeah, that's right, Make sure to tune in some of the other streams throughout the weekend. There'll be some other fun streams happening. There's going to be some different variety modes and things, like check out, try and see some army draft. That's always good fun. You can get the chat involved, that sort of thing. Oh, we've decided, and it's going to be awesome after all of that deliberation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, lots of sweet
Oh,
shows.
Ajari, sorry. Oh, I was Ajari in the end. My bad.
Yeah, well that is, yeah, it is what it is. Alright, we're gonna have an early expansion coming out for Magical, as always. A really solid player of Magical, and it looks like the customary moat coming across as well.
Yeah.
Do the same thing as last time.
Yeah, I think Santa's just decided that worked so well. Don't
Yeah,
change it.
exactly.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? Like, do that
Yeah,
shit again.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I kind of like this as just an open. It costs you a moat, so you're not mining as much alloy as everyone else. But it forces your opponent to do something about it a lot of the time. You
Yeah.
know, or maybe not. I mean, maybe you don't have to do anything about it. You can just leave it. But
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. I think it's annoying, and it throws people off, right?
Yeah, definitely. If they don't know what to do about it, or if they haven't come across it before, it can absolutely freak someone out. I think this is the correct response, where you just take one symbiote and you just bully the moat a little bit, because the moat can't do too much about it. Like, symbiotes are pretty strong, and so it's just a little bit of a dance around. And the tower hitting the main building, well, it's not the end of the world. Magical just needs to make sure that he has the units up when the Sapari get across the map.
Yeah. And I think they will. They put down the Ultra of the Worthy there to get some Mass Hunters out early.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be surprising if Magical switched it up after going for those early packs of Hunters each game so far. This is quite a large number of Sapari coming across though. Like, it's possible that this is a bit of a scuffle.
The Hunters are on the way. We'll see how well they can... Oh, yeah, Simba may have gotten shot by the tower there. And so, this is an interesting one because it's getting close to that point where you're like, oh man, do I just try and kill the growth heart anyway? It's not going to be... Now he's trying to decide where to go with it. There's also a funny little clock here in that he has to kill the neutral tower. Oh, he's just going to leave the base. Fair enough.
Yeah, now, what'll be interesting to see is if Santa plays any more into this idea, you know? We've already whittled down the building a little bit. And one feature of Wardens... Oh, man, trying to snake the base? Whoa, looking for an opening.
He's cheeky, but not cheeky enough. I don't think he's not going to be able to get away with this. Oh,
no, I think the Mass Hunters will be
Mass
just
Hunters. Yeah. Did snake one. On his way out.
Yeah. Oh! What is that?
Hang on a second.
Hidden technology! This is a classic from other games we've seen where we hide some technology out on the base. On the map, rather. Not in the base.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, well, this is going to be a really interesting move. It's shaking things up a bit. Might catch Santa off guard.
Sure. Yeah, he's gotten confused and places buildings outside of his base, the poor man. Oh, no.
That was that symbiote that got chased out before.
Yeah, true.
Poor guy's lost. Yeah, well, I
built an army behind your opponent's base. That's sick.
I was wondering if Santa last game went for those Wardens, and actually Wardens have a special kind of tactic where they can actually kill buildings really effectively because of the powered up 5th attack. So it's possible that some Wardens could come in and clean up that base if they were given just a little bit of time. So we'll have to see if Santa like aims towards that, or if just tries to, you know, live with the map control for a while. I'm a little bit worried though, because they haven't spotted any of the hidden technology, and they might just get jumped.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a real scuffle for the Pyre here. And if those Mass Hunters that come out actually give him a wrap around, he's going for it. Run, Mass Hunters, they're sprinting. Oh, they're sprinting nowhere, never mind us. I thought they looked like they were coming in for the river.
They forgot to do the warm-up stretches. They're like, oh, I'm going to pull my back. Hold on. Hamstrings. That's a lot of Mass Hunters, man.
That is a lot of Mass Hunters. There's one session. You know what? It's a serious unit when it comes to defending.
Yeah, but Santa thought he was going to get the base on the other side of the map and in-walk 30 Mass Hunters and say, nuh-uh.
And the moats are going up for some reason, and exact wrong time. That's definitely not intentional. Yikes. So that's going to be the whole base gone.
Yeah, no, Santa is going to be screaming in anguish at home because every game Santa goes dervish, and the one game Santa does not go dervish, there are 30 Mars Hunters running into the base, killing all those buildings. Yeah. If there were just a few dervish here, that would have made a huge difference in that sort of a fight.
Yeah. So, we've got, Santa's definitely seen the building there, I think. Or maybe not. We'll just keep going past. But I think it's on him right now to try and, you know, find a way back into this game. And he's the dervish. Because he's definitely really far behind now. Way more money coming in for old Star Magical on the other side of the map.
Yeah. The thing is, though, as you've said previously, the dervish chase really well. So these Mars Hunters just might not make it home, you know? Like this, Ferber used to get in and do a lot of damage here. They're gonna get nothing. They're gonna get nothing. They're just gonna have to fight the army. And Infuse goes down, which does give them incredible DPS and possibly the ability to get out here with the move speed. But it's really dangerous stuff here. These Mars Hunters could all go down and the dervish will chase.
Yeah. So there's that expansion going back down super far behind. And see how this chase goes. The dervish are getting kind of blocked by the Safari. These spear guys in the way. Get out of the way! Let me through!
Yeah, another fervor is going to be used there to try and get away.
Yeah. So it does cost a little bit of health. It gives them a little bit of move speed as well. So they are going to get out. Everyone a bit low. You
know that last guy was looking over his shoulder like, oh, the crowd, they're coming!
Yeah, well, unfortunately the dervish was stuck in traffic there, it seems. So,
yeah, man.
Unfortunately,
Safari
not still on the back foot.
Not respecting the slow lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're gonna need to pull something out because it looks like Magical's really pushing that advantage, right? I've got more money. I'm gonna start hitting you in lots of locations at once. You need all the army you've got, and we're gonna see these storms just zoop past.
Now, one interesting side effect though is when you go for harassment units and there's only one base, there's only one place you have to defend. So if Santa has any anti-air units out, then they will defend this and they'll be like, alright, well, you know, there were a few thrum, but that's about it.
Yes, I don't think he does. And I also don't know if he has the supply to build any more.
Oh, an attack coming in.
He's gonna run. Oh, Heaven's Aegis, big shield. So this is it. This is the response he's gone with. All in attack, and it's gonna be all out squashed. That is 2 omnivores there to defend that. Like, absolutely overkill almost.
I think Santa's in huge trouble. The 2 omnivores would have been so unexpected there. There's no way you would anticipate that at this point in the game. Magical just read him like a book. The omnivore's sitting there ready to fight. The Zakala already out on the map. The excellent counters to the dervish that Santa loves, and we've got this one sentinel trying to see off the thrums, but unfortunately it's been grouped in with the rest of the army, and it's going to have to try and defend this huge RU force. I think Santa might be out of luck.
And it's getting picked apart already. That is rough, you know, and there's no income coming in.
Yeah, the thrums are parked up over that base, and the moats are producing to their death.
Not quite going to be rough. That is GG.
Alright, well that was a pretty quick game. Pretty quick game on the third one. I think the decisive maneuvers from Magical were just amazing, you know. To have your first expansion, your growth heart get so low from this moat trickery at the start of the game, and then just to say, no, actually, you know, I've planned things better than you. I'm going to walk back across the map and just kill your base. I mean, I've got very impressive.
The extra unit structure, and I think one thing I really like about the end of that game is that those 2 omnivores there, that's a lot of respect for Santa, right? And it was like, you know what? The only way I lose this game is if he waltzes right up and kills everything I got, so I'm going to put as many towns as I can down and make sure that doesn't happen. And it was worth it, because, man, if I was defending that attack, I wouldn't have had the turrets, and I would have lost everything to the Jari's Aegis, you know? And,
serious foresight, for sure, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Heaven's Aegis running in there would have been a serious craft force to fight, and the Omnivores just put an absolute hard stop to it. Yeah, it was super impressive. Awesome. Well, that was it for Game 3. Congratulations to Magical for taking that one out over Santa, but awesome. Thanks so much to Santa for being one of our pre-alpha kind of top 4 players, giving us such impressive games to kind of usher in the alpha. We'll see you guys in the next matches. Thanks.
Yeah, sweet as.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday of the Alpha Showdown preview, launch party, everything. Here we are with the singles pre-alpha championship, essentially. These are 1v1s between the top 4 players. We're going into the second semi-final with Mixu and Hydra, both amazing players. Hydra is basically the GOAT so far of Immortal. We've had to find players to contest Hydra, essentially. Mixu is the other one, an incredible player in their own right, and hopefully we're going to see an amazing game out of these two. If you want to catch some of the other things we've got going on this weekend, it's really awesome to check out the other streams. We've got a whole bunch of cool content creators. You can catch our Twitch channel on Twitch Sunspeed Games, and you can check us out on Twitter at Gates of Pyre. And of course, check out the Discord, Immortal Gates of Pyre, where everything's happening. If you ever wanted to ask the devs something, we're all there all the time, answering questions constantly. It's one of the most interactive communities, so please come and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're already underway here. We got Mixu playing Zol this time, which you haven't seen so far, and so that's going to be an interesting one. And then Hydra playing on Orzo.
Yeah, no, and hopefully we'll see some of the new mechanics demonstrated. So one of the features that's come into the game very recently is in fact the stealth and camouflage kind of system. So Zol has a lot of these kind of units where they benefit from this like hidden mechanic. So we will see hopefully some of those units use this game where Hydra will have to find some ways around dealing with these invisible units, and we might see some detectors, which is the upgrade of the scout. So if we see that teapot at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see some flying large ones later in the game, I'm sure. These are known as the detectors, which are going to find those invisible units.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting as well, because Mala's got the some slightly different immortal spells as well. They can reduce the vision of the opposing player, which can be really strong for some serious playmaking. But the ability to kind of hide around the map, you know, and lean into that feeling of being like a big Aru like hunter, you know, super lethal, super dangerous. It's not just yet. Both players are just going to start out with an expansion. No one's doing anything too crazy. Santa's not in the game, I guess, so we're going to just play it a bit standard to start off with. And we see the first units.
Yeah, no cheesy moat play right off the bat, so that's interesting. I don't know if it's just a stylistic thing or they just haven't found out about the top tier cheese yet. But we do see just some basic units coming out on the map to start contesting for Pyre and things like that. We can see Hydra's chosen an interesting position for the first building here.
Yeah.
This is beside the destructible rocks on the left side of the base, which frequently the cause of headaches for players where they don't see the rocks being destroyed and end up dying. So this placement can avoid some serious problems later in the game.
Yeah. And it looks like another one at the front there, kind of close, the Soul Foundry there, just so that he can get the hallowed ground at the front. This is super important for Warzone because your Zentari get their ranged attack while they're in hallowed ground. See Mixu just going up the first Pyre capture. Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was a opposition T-bot coming in for a second. I was really worried for them, but no, they're in complete control there. Capturing the Pyre and in fact saving themselves a little bit of time so the units can move on to the next camp. Hyper efficient.
The small kind of optimizations. Yeah, exactly. Right? This is not your grandmother's battle strategy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Must be practicing for it.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Zentari, meanwhile, on the other side of the map, don't have to move at all. They just cleave down the camp and that's that.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Mixu is microing his heart out with the bone stalk. It's like... Zentari.
He's wiping the sweat off his brow, yeah.
Zentari just chatted their way through, like, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, he did an attack move 5 minutes ago. Forgot that.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like pretty even on the Pyre front, right? They both each took camps, and look at that, we've wound up at pretty much dead even.
Yeah. We've got a Reliquary coming down for Hydra, so we're going to see a couple of tech units, maybe some Zephyrs or some Magi. We're going to see what he's going to do with that. Oh, yeah, 4 Zephyrs out immediately.
And some Pyre spent immediately. We see a Citadel going right down at the front of the base there from Hydra. And this is just a classic Warzone maneuver where you get the cheap Citadels and you just use it early. You fill up the whole map, expand your map control. Hallowed Ground is so useful for this Zentari that you may as well get it everywhere.
Yeah. No, and also all teams, towers that you can put down, the generic tower you can place, does give some out of combat healing as well. So it's a great place to fall back to after you get bodied in a fight with Zentari. If you're
Absolutely. And then we see another one. So yeah, Hydra's really doubling down on this. Map control's the name of the game.
Yeah, and it looks like they probably want to play a longer, more drawn out like macro kind of game, right? With all this protection across the map. They're not trying to end it anytime soon.
Yeah, and that plays into Hydra's reputation of being a mad baller. If you are so good, you may as well get to the point in the game where you can just style on some nerds. Show it off, you know?
Well, I gotta say, one thing I do like about both of these players, historically, is they both play like very capable of playing in a lot of places at once. You know, they can have pretty spread armies, and so you often get these situations where you got 2 or 3 fights happening, and it's really sick. So we'll see if we'll get some of that this game.
Shout out to the Resonant. Haven't seen one yet. That's cool.
Yeah,
We've got some new units, I-Core and Resonant coming out. So the I-Core is a really nice, like, it's almost like an equivalent to the Dervish that we've seen already a bit. It's this fast kind of anti-light harassment kind of unit. And unfortunately it might be hitting a tower right now and dying, so not the most effective usage of it. And then the other unit that we've seen is the Resonant with the big cannons, and they can deploy. It's reminiscent of a siege tank from StarCraft. It's kind of, oh, here we see a little scuffle around the creep camp. Oh, and a wind step forward, trying to really take out that key Resonant, the valuable unit there, and oh, chased all the way back to base. This is terrible news for Mixu.
Yeah. He's gonna get the 2 high value units and then leave, and then probably gonna fall back and take this Pyre uncontested.
Yeah.
That's a rough start.
Yeah, and we see those I-Cores are just charging around and haven't really found much damage yet. Maybe they'll find some damage now, making their way into the Acropolis here at the 3rd base. At least a few motes gone down. It's, well, they've managed to find, maybe they'll find one more. Yep, a little spit. See ya, nerd. Unfortunately,
I don't remember it was worth it. They lost too, yeah. That's classic greed, right? We all fall for that every once in a while. It's like, oh, I can get one more worker, and you lose like 10 guys to do it, and you're like, yeah. No. And these guys are absolutely cornered.
Yeah, I took a couple of motes with them, so that's not so bad. One key aspect of the I-Core is that they shoot in a line. So if you can line up your shots, occasionally you get amazing damage. Oh, this is a huge position. Setting up the Resonant on the high ground here with some structures to kind of buffer some damage as well. This is going to be hard to displace.
Yeah. So the high ground there is going to make vision a bit hard, but he's already got the detector, so he can shoot up, and there is just so much craft here. It is nowhere near enough stuff. Bloodwell only just came up a little bit too late there. It's a small structure you can place down as Aru that'll heal and give mana to nearby units, but it's not going to pay out in this case.
It was a nice idea, it just didn't quite work out. There weren't quite enough units there to buffer when the forces came in. I think the crowd forces came in so soon.
That is a huge pickoff, and at this point, I think it's over. There's so much strength. You can check the army powered down there 3,000 to less than 500. The pillars going down, giving that huge damage boost, absolutely shredding the Grove Hut. Yikes! And that's gonna put Hydra, who was already in the dominant position, even further ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing going Mixer's way so far has been the harassment of the I-Cores, just picking off a few workers here and there, but we've just seen the last of the I-Cores picked off, and there's no threats on this side of the map for Hydra, so I think that's just a comfortable lead at this point. I hope that we see some really like strategic setups with these Resonants, because Resonants are a unit that can be incredibly efficient, so maybe, just maybe, we can see an incredibly efficient trade at some point with a really like nice setup on some high ground to really swing things their way, but otherwise it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, he needs the fight of his life. And it's really hard with the Zephyr, the wind stepping up and teleporting onto you. If the fight isn't perfect, they're going to come... Oh, that's rough. Cancel that.
Yeah, I cancelled in time, but these units out on the map are giga vulnerable.
Yeah. So
if that amount of Zephyrs comes wind stepping at you, you better have a plan. Like he's got to deploy and
yeah,
get ready
or something
for the
to
fight.
tank for it, because there's not, right? Like,
Well, that's a good start. 2 units for
Yeah.
free, I'll take that.
yeah, and the detector's just gonna go down. This one resonance getting a bit too far forward.
Yeah, one thing to notice here is that Hydra's gone with a lot of Zephyrs, and Resonance are really good versus the heavy armor that is the Zephyr armor type. So it is possible that if Mixu arranges his units correctly and has the right buffer in the right place, the Zephyrs might not
Yeah.
find a good fight.
I think Hydra knows this. He's not gonna fight it. He's just gonna go somewhere else. And that's the thing. Like, the clock's on Mixu in this case, I feel, rather than Hydra, right?
Yeah.
He's got to stop by this tower. He can't put into some other better position because his tower's been placed here ages ago, right? Now he can maybe try to get an actual threatening position. Meanwhile, Hydra's on the other side of the map, you know, finding damage, finding harassment. He's going to pull the army home.
Yeah, but Hydra didn't get anything done. Hydra threatened the attack, made a little bit of room for an expansion perhaps, but ultimately just lost the Citadel. So I think that was a good move by Mixu. More like that might get Mixu back in the game. The Aqua's died for free, not so much. But that happens. That's what happens when you have excellent map control by Hydra, you know. Active with the units.
It's going to be so scary being Mixu right now, because the army he's got with the deploying resonance and those underspines as well, which can slow down enemy movement and attack, they also have to deploy. So he's got to feel like he's swimming with the sharks right now, because he needs to deploy all his stuff before the fight starts. And Hydra, on the other hand, is just going to teleport in on you if you're ever not quite in the right position. Oh, and that's rough. So there's a lot of ways to deal with resonance, and Hydra skipped all of them and gone for the very last one, a big shower, so that he can just ore strike a bunch of them at once.
Yeah, for sure. It can be quite hard if you if the Aru player spreads out the Resident, it can be quite hard to catch a lot of them in the ore strike. And so occasionally you can like position your army just very, very cleverly to get a good fight still. But it will be hard to take a good position. If you ever want to siege up, you'll see an ore strike coming down on it for sure. In fact, we might be seeing that now. We see the Resistance deploying on the left, and I expect an ore strike to come out soon. No, Santa doesn't. Oh, not Santa, sorry. Hydra doesn't want this one.
Just marked it there with the Zol hunt skill, so we're just going to see if we can pull back.
Yeah, I think that might have been the deterrent required, yeah. Just contesting for Pyre around the map still. It's interesting to see Mixu splitting up units in this way. Like the type of army that Mixu is using is quite good together. It's a very strong, efficient army if you have enough buffer there. In this kind of situation with a pillar coming in, just trying to bust his way in the front. Here comes the ore strike on the right hand side. No ore strike yet, just rolling through it with basic units. There's just too much craft. Yeah, and this was what I was talking about with like the splitting of units. It's just so hard to battle that much craft.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think there are a couple of ways that Hydra could have approached that, but he just went straight down. That's one of the things you can do with Awesome, right? If you've got the Zentari and the pillar, you just roll right in.
Yeah, no, it's the they move forever.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what you're supposed to do from this position with Sharu, and that's gonna be
tactical
GG.
Tactical GG, yeah.
yeah. Let's go back to the next game.
Yeah. I think that's a reasonable call, you know. There's no point in messing around longer than you need to. There was just some small outplays at the start of the game that just put Mixu in a bad spot. But I really like what we're seeing strategically from Mixu, and I really hope that they can bring that into the next game and show us what that's supposed to look like. I'm sure that's going to be an efficient look if that goes right.
Sweet ass.
Awesome. We'll see you in the next game. Stick around.
Hey guys, welcome back. We got game 2 of Hydra vs Mixu in the semi-finals here for the 1v1 championship. So this is going to be another sick game, I think. Mixu's going to stay on Zol. We'll see what Hydra goes for here. Yeah,
I think Hydra feels really comfortable in Orzum, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again. And there we go, locked in Orzum straight away. Yeah, it's a Hydra classic to benefit from the Orzum passive for cheaper Citadels. There's something about it where Hydra just resonates with the extra map control. Having Citadels everywhere provides the hello ground and the tower healing. It's a favorite, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, it's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll see if they both just go for the immediate expansions again. We've definitely seen a lot of expand and tech. But it is good to see in the, like, at least one round of early units we've seen out of pretty much every player today in order to kind of get out there and get that Pyre. So it's clear that players are valuing that third resource, you know, to really take advantage of the immortal abilities.
Yeah, somewhere in our design team, Travis is wiping a tear away from his eye. Everything's working just as planned, you know? People getting out of the map.
Yeah, that's for sure. Or, you know, scheming with his fingers, tapping with his monocle in. my schemes!
More aggression early in the game. Fight over fire. Next patch, you can't expand, you know?
It's clearly overtuned to early aggression if you can send a mote across the map, slap a tower, and take down the main building.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. No, I think the adjustment there is that you build your Legion Hall over there with the moat. You know, you send another moat, you build.
Yeah, and it takes the damage. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely all in. All right, that's what we need.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any all-ins.
Yeah, this is looking pretty familiar to the first game, I have to say. Hydra's got that. He loves that spot. And then the towers as well. I think, you know, you can see he's pretty keen to not be caught out by something, right? All this kind of defensive net, you know, cover everything, cover every possible entrance. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are only a few paths around the map in the end. You know, there's a lot of different paths through the middle of the map, but when you start to get closer to the bases, there are only a few routes you can go. And a couple of citadels can cover most of them, especially given that you do start with one out on the map. And this is actually a aspect of Immortal designed to help newer players as well, to kind of encourage people out on the map earlier in the game, so it's not such a dark and scary place. We do see some early Bone Stalkers coming out. Only a few though, you know, 6 is not like a large number. I'm not sure if the next two are coming in, we're just waiting on the money, but it does look like a Pyre collection group.
They got up early, they missed the alarm. They're like, hey man, we got the hunt. What do you... Oh shit. That was today? I thought that was tomorrow. Oh my god.
They probably did that thing where you like step on that one wet route and no teapot here to collect it this time. The teapot missed the alarm too. It's disastrous.
He's started stepping the Pyre there. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, so this is really familiar. I guess this must be the standard Hydra opening. I think he really wants to get into those Zephyrs really fast and get into the wind step really fast. Just because that teleport gives you such a great control of the map early on, right? Like really take fights when you want to have them, right?
Yeah, and I think the other aspect is that Zephyrs just go quite well against Zol. Like I think the heavy armor provides just that little bit of extra protection and resilience against these kind of light units that come out early from Zol, and the maneuverability means that you don't get caught out by like some of the ambush tactics that Zol is trying to set up, and it must just provide a little bit of extra kind of safety that Hydra wants, so the game doesn't just end to mistakes. Yeah,
so this Bone Stalker unit here has the camouflage ability we were just talking about, right? So if they stand still for a little bit, they'll go invisible once you the research, and then they'll do double damage when they come out of stealth, right? But one of the downsides, if you pick this unit over the Masked Hunter, is they can't use that fervor ability to get a speed boost, which would normally allow them to run away a lot faster. So they'd be even more susceptible to being chased down by those Zephyrs if Hydra goes into them.
Or chase themselves, you know. Occasionally, if you have a fervor and you decide you want to chase, you can just run down some units, get a lot of hits in on the way home, and it really adds a lot of value to winning a fight, being able to clean up a little more.
Yeah. So it looks like this is... Mixu doesn't want to Mixu it up that much, and is just playing a very similar strategy. And, you know, kind of like, it was more just a couple of mistakes in the early game that lost it, right? Not like an issue with the strategy itself. This kind of, you know, Amber Womb heavy strategy.
Yeah. And I think it was very clear the mistake we saw last game, where that first pack of units that moved out without the Icors, a Resonant and an Underspine went down straight away, just to being caught out with some craft units hiding on a high ground. And, you know, if you lose that critical map, all of a sudden you're set back so severely. Whereas here we see the Icor's roaming quite happily, and that little ball of units is remaining home until we hit that real mass.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the adjustment's going to be, because last time it was a really heavy resonant push around this time, you know, and I'm curious to see if that's going to happen again, because I don't imagine he's expecting much different from Hydra. Yeah, look at the wall on there, natural there.
Yeah, and we need to see where Mixu puts the Pyre, right? 165 Pyre is a lot of Pyre to be playing with, so we have to see if Mixu's going to go to use an ultimate ability, or if this is for kind of some tactical ability usage later and like some scuffles. Because Hydra's just been doing the same thing with putting down those citadels as soon as he can.
Yeah, and Ika's terrible against these highly armored units, so they're going to have to leave, and they're not going to be able to. Poor Ikas. We should have. We added the sound to that unit not too long ago, and I hate it.
It makes them. It hits you in the feels. It makes you feel too bad about losing the unit. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. I'm not gonna be. The second time to this game, Mixu's playing it fast and loose with the Pyre. Is getting right up next to it, not taking it.
Yeah, we see this pack of units is a little more beefy now. We've got 4 Resonant moving out rather than the 1 we had last time. And we see the craft in the same position actually. This is the same kind of idea with taking that like ball of craft beefy units, moving forward with a detector, and kind of getting out on the map around that second fire camp coming.
Yeah. It's so secure, you know? Because no one can push into your base properly. Because you've got Zentari, and they're just absolute chads, they can't be pushed off hallowed ground, right?
Yeah.
And if someone wants to harass you, well, you've got these really fast Zephyrs to bounce between these bases, and Hydra spent heaps and heaps of money on walls and citadels everywhere by blocking everything off, like it's, but it's an awesome playstyle.
the slow game can favor Mixu here, you know? The Resonants are really good once they're set up and ready, so this kind of a fight, you know? There's a few deployed. I think you can't come running into that just yet.
Shit. I'm just so worried there's nothing else there, you know?
True, yeah. I mean, there's not that many units, but you know, running into 8 Resonance is not easy no matter who you are.
Yep,
we might see a little awkward passing in the night kind of thing here. We'll see if Mixu can catch this, because otherwise there could be some serious damage to the back of the base.
A whole lot of undeployed Resonance here, some deployed further back. While they're deployed on that rootway there, they do get a little bit of extra protection, so that's another thing that you're going to want to bring those underspines around for, other than just the slow they have on their attack.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see that Mixu hasn't realized that the rocks have gone down and a few units are slipping in though. These Zephyrs are definitely enough to clear the work line, and it could be really problematic because they could clear the work line and make their way out of there if the wind step is used correctly to teleport away.
Yeah, no, this is a really annoying amount as well. That's a lot of Zephyrs. You know what I mean? Like, kind of hard to remember sometimes with Craft. You're like, there's only 5 guys here, and it's like those are 5 like angel blessed, jacked people. You know, like it's a serious. Yeah.
The Resonance coming back will be able to clear them out, but it does mean that there's no Resonance deployed out controlling the map. So that's a really good opportunity for Hydra to make some moves if he wanted to anywhere else on the map. And there we go, the wind step away, no losses so far.
Oh, this is interesting. So this is Zol's other signature unit. This is the Whitewood Reaper. They have the lethal bond ability. They can throw out this bond to a unit, and if they hit a unit, they'll enter stealth. That unit will take double damage. And also they hit like trucks, as you can see, they're demolishing this wall here. Even with Orzum's ability, the Empire Unbroken, to increase the durability obstructions. So they're going to leave after taking that.
Well, those Zephyrs are done for! Bonus heavy damage on the Resonance is going to push short work to these. Unfortunately, he got out. Oh!
Yeah, but he might be microing too much. The Whitewood Reapers are... Oh! Hits 1 lethal bond, they're going to be camouflaged. They won't be visible outside of a certain range there.
Mixu's been tasked on the multitasking. We can see that that Zephyr's almost slipped by, just being caught there at the end, and now all the Resonance are coming back out into position, which is, well, a relief, because man, there's a huge craft army shucking around outside.
That is massive. And one of the issues here is that you know, Hydra's not going to fight directly into that if it's set up. You know, he's going to shark back and forth until he can find a good one. Like, and this is a pretty good opening. There's a couple of those.
Oh wow, that
there.
is such an interesting choice. The Red Seers, the spellcasting used for the Aru, has all decided to morph right as the Craft Army comes charging in. Ore Strike's running down on the Residents they're deployed, but the Residents are undeployed to try and move back right as a pillar plops down in their lap.
This is awful timing.
There are 4 Karlachs morphing on the left-hand side. If they can survive and make it through, they might be able to hold, but it's going to be tough. They just ate an Ore Strike.
Oh no.
Oh, they're all being cleaned up there. I just spotted them out. The timing was disastrous.
Yeah, that is rough. And that is such an enormous craft. You can see the power down at the bottom there. Huge wave of units being built now, but it's not going to be anywhere near fast enough.
Yeah, I think Mixu's run into the same problem of just not quite being in position, even though that army can fight head to head if it's set up. It wasn't quite set up in time, and the double whammy of having the spellcasters morph into their like really high tier Karlach siege unit right as the army came in.
Yeah. That is terrible luck or brilliant timing from Hydra. And yeah, and there you're gonna see it there. GG to Hydra. He's gonna be moving on to the finals. Super sick game there. Actually, I really liked that.
Yeah, it's super impressive stuff by Hydra. It was the same thing, you know. Clear execution, just had a plan, put the citadels down, built up the army, shucked around, got a little bit of harassing, and then just steamrolled in the front. Warzone knocking on the door.
Yeah, Warzone plays super defensive, and then when he wants to, drop the pillar, drop the base, go home with another victory. All right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, stick around for the finals, guys. We've got an exciting matchup coming between Magical and Hydra to kind of finish off our pre-alpha, essentially, with like 2 of the best players. It's exciting stuff. We'll see you there soon.